Hal yang merubah cara pandang saya tentang dunia pertanian adalah saat 4 bulan lalu seorang dosen dari salah satu universitas terkemuka di Indonesia mengatakan kepada saya untuk stop merekomendasikan penggunaan bahan-bahan kimia kepada para petani. Saya pun bertanya, kenapa? Dia menjawab, itu adalah sebuah pembodohan yang sudah dirancang lebih dari 100 tahun yang lalu hanya oleh sekelompok kecil orang untuk memperkaya diri mereka sendiri dan keturunannya, kemudian untuk memiskinkan petani di seluruh dunia. Sebuah pernyataan yang saat itu bagi saya terdengar sangat aneh. Lalu dia pun menjelaskan sebuah skema dunia pertanian yang sangat mind-blowing. Dalam skema itu, semua tentang dunia pertanian digambarkan hanya bermuara pada segelintir globalis kelas kakap dunia. Saya pun tak lantas percaya pada saat itu. Yang ada dalam benak saya adalah apa yang terjadi dalam dunia pertanian saat ini adalah kebutuhan yang memang dibutuhkan oleh para petani guna meningkatkan efisiensi dan produksi pertanian. Tapi sejak saat itu, kata-kata dari dosen tersebut sangat mengganggu dalam pikiran saya, sehingga membuat saya tergerak untuk melakukan riset. 2 bulan kemudian, fakta-fakta mengejutkan pun mulai saya dapati, yang membuat saya berpikir ulang bahwa apa yang dikatakan beliau mungkin semuanya benar, bahwa dunia pertanian memang sudah dikontrol secara total oleh sekelompok kecil manusia untuk merugikan umat manusia lain di seluruh dunia. Dan yang lebih mengejutkan lagi adalah saya menjumpai fakta bahwa sebenarnya dunia pertanian sama sekali tak butuh bahan-bahan kimia tersebut, karena ada sebuah pengetahuan yang sangat luar biasa tentang kehidupan tanaman atau tumbuhan yang sengaja dibungkam agar tak terekspos oleh banyak orang. Video ini adalah bagian ketiga dari serial Total Kontrol Dunia Pertanian. Mari kita mulai. Selamat datang kembali di Munandar TV.
I think people really are starting to be aware that something is wrong.
In the last 100 years, we've lost half of the basic building block that makes soil productive. Half of it's gone.
Soil health is very important not only for farmers but for the consumer and the general public, because we all like to eat, and I don't think any of us are going to volunteer to give that up anytime soon.
From now until 2060, we're going to have to produce as much food as we've produced in the last 500 years.
Soil is a living, breathing system. Sometimes we have to feed it a little for it to feed us, and it's like a relationship. If you're in a relationship where all you do is take, and you take the maximum you can at every opportunity, what are the odds of that relationship lasting very long?
When you battle, you don't really tend to accomplish things.
Never have I seen among farmers such a broad quest for knowledge as I'm seeing now.
The soil renaissance is going to transform the entire agricultural industry. This will be historical.
Suka atau tidak suka, ada sebuah fakta yang tak dapat dipungkiri oleh umat manusia, yaitu bahwa tumbuhan sama sekali tak butuh manusia. Sebaliknya, manusialah yang butuh tumbuhan untuk hidup. Tapi manusia merasa bisa mengendalikan segalanya. Kita melakukan apa saja untuk mendapatkan keuntungan yang sebesar-besarnya, termasuk dengan merusak lingkungan, dengan pembenaran untuk mengejar profit. Tapi sebenarnya itu hanyalah sebuah propaganda yang sengaja dibuat agar Anda terjebak dalam sebuah sistem. Mudah saja untuk membuktikannya. Jika Anda adalah seorang petani yang berbasis kimia, maka coba untuk menjawab pertanyaan berikut. Apakah petani adalah profesi yang menjanjikan? Apakah para generasi muda mau meneruskan profesi bertani yang sudah ada sekarang? Bagaimana masa depan dunia pertanian? Jika ada pilihan lain yang lebih baik, masih maukah Anda menjadi petani? Pertanyaan-pertanyaan tersebut sebagian besar dari kita sudah tahu jawabannya, karena dunia pertanian memang hanya baik untuk korporasi, tapi buruk untuk petani. Sekarang, mari kita belajar bersama tentang sebuah intelligent design yang dirancang oleh Sang Ilahi untuk kehidupan umat manusia di bumi. Tapi manusia lebih memilih untuk mengingkarinya dan menganggap dirinya lebih hebat dari segalanya. Video ini tentang sebuah simbiosis yang terjadi di dalam tanah, dan akan membuat kita berpikir, masih butuhkah kita untuk menggunakan bahan-bahan seperti pupuk sintetis di dalam dunia pertanian, atau malah pupuk sintetis itu sendiri yang lambat laun akan menghabisi dunia sedikit demi sedikit.
Healthy plants need healthy soil for healthy growth. To be able to precisely absorb what plants need, the soil needs to contain minerals and the necessary soil life. Research shows that the widespread use of synthetic fertilizer leads to soils that no longer have the required biology for healthy plant growth. Fertilizer comes from a time in which there was no understanding of the long-term effects on the soil. For farmers, fertilizer was a miracle. The harvests doubled, and growers were able to provide the required food for a growing population. But now, after years of using synthetic fertilizers, the effects on soil quality are apparent. Increasingly, it is seen that fewer nutritional minerals remain in the soil, resulting in plants that quickly become weak and diseased. They are no longer protected by bacteria and fungi, but instead are attacked by them. As well as this, using fertilizer means that these days, farmers need to plow deeper as the ground becomes quickly compacted. This is a costly business for farmers and is disastrous for the soil. There is a better way. It is not widely known, but the roots of plants are able to develop more easily in an environment rich in old roots. Here you can see the current plowing method, in which the soil is turned to 25 centimeters. This means that the plant really struggles to reach the thousands of passageways that other plants have created with their roots. They often don't even reach through the plow pan, which is caused by plowing the land with heavy machinery. A surface cultivation method can offer a solution to this. This shallow soil processing means that the roots are quickly able to access the passageways left by decomposing roots. In this situation, they only have to work really hard once they reach the extremities of the passageways. This means that they can root deeper year after year and ensures that there is even more soil and water available for growth. Dealing with diseases by spraying does little more than suppress symptoms. A healthy plant is able to keep most plant diseases out. In response to the negative effects of using fertilizers, pesticides are used to save the harvest. The conclusion we can draw is that plants that are only given fertilizer will ultimately always become diseased. Fertilizer is the direct cause of the use of most pesticides. In order to resolve the worldwide problem of over-fertilization, the vicious circle must be broken. The question that we must ask ourselves is, how can we improve the soil? The answer is surprisingly simple, but requires some explanation. Just like every other organism on the planet, health and growth depends on a partnership between specialist bacteria and fungi. Plants, fungi, and bacteria form a wonderful system based on trading products. How does it work? Fungi and bacteria supply nutrients from the soil that would otherwise be hard to reach. In exchange for this, plants supply sugars in the form of glucose. To explain this system, we will explain bacteria and fungi separately. Plants have a problem. Their fine absorption roots have a limited capacity. They only use 4 to 7% of the soil volume and are, on average, not thicker than a hair. They don't live long, only 1 to 3 weeks. As you can see, plants need external help. Plants use their absorption roots to forge a partnership. If they can't find partners, they'll die. If they succeed, it's the start of a beautiful relationship. From now on, a symbiosis can be created. Minerals are hard to mine from the soil, but rhizobacteria are specialized in this process, particularly when it comes to releasing phosphate, which is very important for the plant. These bacteria also carry out countless other important tasks, including one which is very special. Rhizobacteria form a sort of natural defense system around the roots. Anything attacking the plant is kept outside by the physical presence of these rhizobacteria. They ensure that there is no room for disease-causing bacteria. They have their own interest in this because the plant provides them with food. However, the bacteria also need help. They are not travelers. The bacterial colonies do not move back and forth from minerals to the roots. Most minerals found in soil are located outside the reach of the roots, and therefore also out of the reach of rhizobacteria. These can only live near the roots. As we have seen before, the zone of absorption is therefore very limited. Mycorrhizal fungi are able to drastically increase this absorption capacity. It may sound like a modern development, but it's not. The fungus has always existed, but due to modernization, its role has been neglected. Due to many years of using synthetic fertilizers, mycorrhiza is only very sporadically found in agricultural soils. Mycorrhizal fungi have always lived in symbiotic relation with the plant roots. Mycorrhizal fungus forms a living connection within the roots and creates an absorption and transport system. This is essential for healthy plant growth. Mycorrhiza in the roots is just as normal as chlorophyll in the leaves. This is beyond doubt. As stated before, the absorption roots of plants are 0.2 millimeters thick. This means that they can only grow in macropores, as shown here. Now we zoom in to see what happens when the plant gets help from the mycorrhizal fungus. The fungal threads are even thinner than most bacteria. They are only as thick as 3 microns. This means that these thin threads grow easily in the micropores, where the majority of nutrients and water are stored. Without help, a plant would never be able to reach these areas. It's not just the roots, but also the fungal threads that are responsible for the absorption of nutrients and water. The long, thin fungal hyphae that fully takes over the absorption of materials from the roots are able to provide disease resistance. Distantly located minerals that are bound to iron and calcium are now easier to absorb. These fine threads or hyphea can easily be a kilometer long in just 1 teaspoon of soil. Mycorrhizal fungi cause absorption capacity to be 7 times higher on average. This means that growing can be done with less water and that weeds have far less chance to thrive due to competition for space. The benefit to the fungi is the glucose produced by the plants. For the plants, the benefit is a larger absorption zone. This unique and constant interaction between the plant, bacteria and fungi creates a really fantastic symbiosis. The payout that the plant provides to its partners is water, minerals and glucose. The partnership between soil and roots requires healthy soil biology. Healthy soil contains organic matter from dead leaves, dead roots, and dead animals. This dead organic matter is broken down in nature by soil life to become humus. Years of using fertilizer has caused the humus to disappear from agricultural land. You could think of humus as the battery of the soil. It's where the energy is stored. The energy that the soil life needs to do its work. Without the humus, it is almost impossible to achieve natural soil recovery. It has long been thought that nitrogen fertilizer stimulates the soil life as more bacteria are able to grow. But to maintain their carbon-nitrogen balance, they are compelled to consume more organic material, which then enters the atmosphere as CO2. The symbiosis between plant, fungi and bacteria is not only a great partnership, it is absolutely vital. Without these transformers of organic material, we would all perish in excess organic material. Returning to the question we asked previously about how we can improve the soil, the answer must be, ultimately, plants improve the soil on their own. They do this through the symbiosis between plants, bacteria and fungi.
Sekarang kita sudah mengetahui tentang sebuah simbiosis yang terjadi di dalam tanah antara tanaman, bakteri, dan juga jamur, yang secara alami memberikan kesuburan dan sistem imunitas bagi tanaman. Di sini kita bisa mengetahui bahwa penggunaan pupuk kimia justru hanya merusak sistem imunitas dari tumbuhan itu sendiri. Subur tapi palsu, sebuah jebakan iblis yang sangat sempurna. Ini adalah akhir dari bagian ketiga. Silahkan like video ini jika kalian suka. Kita berjumpa lagi di video selanjutnya yang akan membahas sesuatu yang semakin mind blowing. Semoga bermanfaat. Terima kasih.